And here we are in the gate of confusion, gate 64, in the third line. And it's called overextension. When we get to the third line, of course, we get to the line of trial and error. The third line is going to bump into the other side. It's not ready for it. It's not equipped. It's lower trigram. Because the third line is the completion of the lower trigram, it's always going to bump into what it is not prepared for. It's exceedingly difficult for the third line in this position to be comfortable. Ra said that there was no greater enemy to the sanctity of the human life than the mental gates. This is about coming to understand that what we see in human design through definition and type, and ultimately through authority, is that the mental system has no inner authority to make a decision for us in our lives. The mind has only outer authority. And what a gift that can be. Ra's joke used to be that his mind was great for everybody else, absolutely horrible for him. And that's the same for all of us. We can never succumb to our mind wanting to be in charge. The great lesson of human design, the thing to truly understand, is that unless you can be clear that your mind doesn't have inner authority in your process, every activation in the mind is going to be disturbing to you. Your mind becomes your enemy. If you have the 64 or the 61 or the 63, you can be tormented by the pressure that exists in that head center. It's a huge pressure. We mustn't ever underestimate the pain of the pressure in these head gates. In the exaltation, we have the wisdom to recognize when one has not the necessary resources to complete transition. Such timely awareness may give it a chance to seek assistance. The wisdom to accept confusion is a temporary state that will be resolved in time through others. Others, again, this collective circuitry. If you don't have the necessary resources, you cannot make sense out of the confusion. The moment the other is there, though, wow, something could happen. One of the realities of the abstract and logical collective experience is that it is dependent on being shared with others in order to really achieve its fulfillment. This is the mechanic. This is third line. Well, tough as it may be, being able to learn from banging into the other side that it can't make sense out of the confusion alone, that's the magic for the 64. That's its point of transition to come to wisdom. Wow. What a lesson for the third line to learn, and a great collective lesson too. Everything in its correct time through others. Wherever we go, all of these different gates, it's come through in many, many different ways. We meet timing. And that timing is not something that you have to learn. Timing is something that you are. You have the right timing when you're living out your nature. In the detriment, we have the risk of a superficially confident personality that when transition collapses, there is no one to turn to. Overconfidence that the fates will be kind on demand. This is the hope that whoever you meet is going to be able to solve your problem. That whoever you meet is somebody that you're going to be inspiring to. That whoever you meet is going to look at your confusion and make sense out of it for you and help you. The most important thing is that here in this third line, it learns really quickly the need for that social collective process. It needs it. Both the 64 and the 63, they feed the collective interdependency. They insist on it. The individual and tribal circuits, they each have a social channel. But when we look at the collective circuitry, all the channels are social, inherently social. So when you reach the upper trigram and the transpersonal possibilities, there's the excuse me, there is the capacity even to share the confusion with others. See, my mouth got a bit confused then, because it's something that works more consistently. You know, when you start sharing with others, when you stop trying to do it all on your own, that's not what the collective is all about. Everything then works more consistently. The lower trigram doesn't know that the 47 is at the other end of the channel, waiting, you know, designed to realize something out of the confusion, actually needing that confusion as fuel. It doesn't know that. And so it doesn't understand that mechanism with the other. It doesn't have the gift of beginning the process of recognizing which of the other can be of value. Because not every 47 is going to be a good fit for that 64. That's why the third line here is rooted in fate. It's not like they think they can understand the other or that they can figure out which other can help them. It's more that the gods are going to help me. They're bound to help me because they have got no idea about the other. Gate 30 is the gate of the fates, really, and it is part of this experiential circuitry. When you start to look into these lines in this kind of depth that we're going through on this journey, you start to feel into all the different ways that everything links up together. You know, and you start to listen to the language of it all. And Ra put this in very particular language. A lot of the keynoting here, it goes in on a cellular level. It has a really deep impact on the body itself, or in the body itself. A lot of what I am presenting to you here, the majority really of what I'm presenting here, it's Ra's work. I mean, all of it's Ra's work, but it's the way that he phrases it. I take it from the Line Companion. I take it from the Rave I Ching. I'm not really putting much of Bambaji in it, except my delivery, possibly. So the language of it is really important because Ra structured it in a very particular way. The grounding comes through the 63, of course, and the third line is called continuance. Excellent. Let me know. Again. Venus is moving into gate 48 tomorrow morning at 8:38. This transit gives us the opportunity to explore whether we value our own depth. Do we value our own innate wisdom? Do we value the powerful energy which comes from this gate that can be used to solve problems? Now, this is what we find here in gate 48, this splenic gate that's in logical circuitry. There can be a tendency towards insecurity here, feelings of inadequacy. Perhaps we can also learn to accept that, if not to value it. It's the shadow to the light, you know, it's the duality of life that we live in. And the moon is in gate 18, went in at 1:04 this morning, and this is beginning its monthly journey through all the splenic gates. So this is a gate that can be easily dissatisfied with imperfection. It may have a keen ability to spot flaws and weaknesses, to correct them. And there can be a steep learning curve here as we find that correction is not personal. It is not about finding the flaws in the other, but finding the flaws in the pattern. That's what this logical circuitry is all about. And next we have gate 48 at 12:32. We explored that with Venus. This is a projector gate that is waiting for its gifts to be recognized and invited out, guiding others through workable solutions that can provide the foundation for others to perfect their skills. And gate 57, this comes into the moon comes into gate 57 at midnight, exactly, BST. This is the gentle. It's the gate of intuitive insight and clarity, with the ability to penetrate to the core of any situation in the moment and find clarity. This is another projector energy. Our insights need to be invited in order to be of value. This gate is acutely attuned to sounds and vibrations in the environment because they can be used to protect our physical well-being, which is something that these splenic gates are very well equipped to do. So that's the third line in gate 64. Thank you very much for joining me for this exploration. I will see you tomorrow for the fourth line. And until then, as always, go love yourself. Love yourself. Hold on, let me find the right button here. Love yourself and go gently. And yeah, fourth line day tomorrow.